Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes Report for the day of 944 for the 24th of September, basically the past 24 hours. So not a lot of very major, very important updates, and this is published on the DPA War channel. So if you have subscribed to the War channel, because it's the hub for the war reporting for DPA. So no, you should sub here if you are a war fan. So we're gonna we go through the list. There's frontline changes over at Voschansk, Nevelsky over in the Svetove front, Mikhailivka over at the Pokrov front, Ukraine's Nevelsky. So some updates on the Nevelsky salient, Vodiane in the Donetsk front, VUHLEDAR, Pavlivka as well as Preshestivka. So we're going to go into the Voschansk in the Kharkiv front. So the Kharkiv front, the Ukrainian forces have launched a counterattack which enabled them to retake the aggregate plant. So this factory here, there was the most upfront position, most outpost position for the Russians, has been now retaken by the Ukrainian forces. So this is widely celebrated on the Ukrainian side, and this allows the Ukrainian mapping to publish more damning situation for themselves. So which is good. Sometimes I was thinking that maybe the Russians should let the Ukrainians have some victory, have some W's, so that they will publish more of their L's. If not, then the map keep getting stuck. So it's very important. So the Russians' lines is generally around here. There is a gray zone around here. So this is the front line change over in Voschansk. So anyway, and on the strategic side, they could have just let Ukraine have some wins, so that they will get more entrenched, and then the grinding will be more effective. This is just some random thoughts. So over at Nevelsky, over in the Svetove front. So in case you do not know, we are going here. So over at the Svetove front, at Nevelsky, there is some major updates. Geolocation of Russian forces was continued to be published within Nevelsky, and this updates our mapping, and the Ukrainian mapping have acknowledged that the Russians have taken all the way up to the river, the Zerbets River. So confirming Russian firm control around this central southern part of Nevelsky. So sorry, Nevsky. I keep getting confused. Nevsky, not Nevelsky. Nevsky. So if I zoom out, it's a bit clearer. So this is Nevsky. Nevsky is this settlement here. This is Nevsky. So the Russians have basically, but this is the central part of the town. So they have, but it's also the southern part. So this is where the Russians have taken the control, and the latest geolocation is here. So we shall continue to monitor this to see how this progress around in Nevsky. Sorry for the confusion between Nevelsky and Nevsky. Then the next frontline change is over at Mikhailivka. So we jump all the way to Pokrov front. This is Pokrov. At Mikhailivka, Russian forces have controlled the entire south and southwest of Mikhailivka, with the Russian forces closing up the gap, trying to hit northward towards Selidove, as they try to consolidate the lines so that they can attack Selidove from the south. There is a heavy entrenchment allegedly around here, and a smaller entrenchment south of Selidove. This remains to be under Ukrainian control. So this is a frontline change over Selidove and Mikhailivka. So I zoom out a bit. So let me know in the comments, when I do this kind of frontline change, do you prefer me to zoom in a bit so that I can see the terrain, or should I zoom out a bit, zoom out more? So when I draw this, because if let's say I zoom out in this level, you probably can see the strategic situation better. Because if I zoom in, then you can actually see the details of the terrain. So let me know what you prefer, because I can't possibly draw twice the arrow for every single location. Is not very efficient. So over at let's try here. So this is where the Russian forces have taken positions, taken grounds over in the southwest of Mikhailivka. Russian forces have captured the rest of Ukraine's. This is based on the concession from the Ukrainian mapping Deep State UA, confirming the full capture of Ukraine's. So this current situation over in this Ukraine's region, at the Nevelsky, this is where I got the confusion between Nevsky and Nevelsky. This is Nevelsky, by the way, where the Russians have captured. Finally, we have some updates from the Ukrainian mapping. The Russians have continued to capture more ground, this time around basically all of the north of Krasnohorivka, with the Russian forces capturing all of these grounds as they slowly close up this salient, moving in the direction of Hernik and Kurakivka. So this is Hernik, this is Kurakivka. So the Russian forces are now pushing in this direction. So yeah, this gap is going to take and maybe another week or two before they will totally close up, in my opinion, because yeah, either the Russians are doing it very slowly or the Ukrainians are not going to give us this information. So that's all from this Nevelsky region. And then we're going to jump down to the most hot places, the most hot location, which is over in the VUHLEDAR region. So over in the Vodyane region, the Russian forces expanded their control as they continue to consolidate the ground around Vodyane. This is based on Russian claim. This is not a confirmed capture. This is based on the Russian mapping. And the Russian forces have taken Vodyane positions and expanded their control and securing the South Donbas mine number 3. So this continues to build a strong position for the Russians to then attack towards Bohov-Yevlenka. So this actually gave me this name actually gave me some like I can't even stop thinking about this word, when I was sleeping, because it's so weird to pronounce. Bohov-Yevlenka. It's probably Bogo-Yevlenka in Russian, I guess, because H is G, right? Bogo-Yevlenka, Bohov-Yevlenka. Yeah, well, so this is nothing special per se. This is just a natural progression of the Russians moving towards Bohov-Yevlenka. Over the VUHLEDAR region, this is of course where a lot of this focus now is on, because this is the hottest news right now, the hottest trending situation. The Russian forces have basically geolocated to have entered into VUHLEDAR from the east. However, this footage only showed 2 soldiers running into a low building. So it does not necessarily mean that it's a mass assault of ground forces entering it, but it's still Russian soldiers entering the city. So this is something to note. The Russian claim is a bit bigger. Later I will zoom in to show you. And the Russian forces have also secured the entirety of the northern part, and everything north of the river at Pavlivka, as well as all of the dacha south of VUHLEDAR. So the Russian forces is starting to close the noose around the VUHLEDAR, and this on top of the Russian positions, of course, which is already very advanced, as well as there's a possible full capture of the South Donbas mine number 1. This is looking very, very precarious. And even Ryba actually noted what I have noted yesterday, that the Ukrainian narrative regarding VUHLEDAR is abnormally depressing. Like, it's like usually you'll see the Ukrainians more hype up, more bullish about things, but they are extremely pessimistic about VUHLEDAR in their messaging, and which to me is a sign that there's a high chance that the Ukrainians are going to be withdrawing from VUHLEDAR in the very, very near future, because they just don't believe that they can hold a position at all. So they're preparing the audience for this eventuality. So otherwise, it's just very abnormal for Ukrainians to become so pessimistic suddenly, especially it's VUHLEDAR. VUHLEDAR is a fortress city. So anyway, if you zoom in, you will probably see more clearly. So the Russian forces, this is actually not the first time the Russians attacked from this vector. 2 years ago, the Russians attacked VUHLEDAR as they tried to storm into the city. This is exactly where they attacked as well. So the Russian forces is geolocated entering the building around here, which is now temporarily closed because the Russians are there now. So this is actually where I would say the firm line is. However, based on the Russian mapping, they actually draw this a bit bigger somehow. So anyway, this is what it is. Then of course the gray zone drawn by Ryba is even bigger, so which is even more ridiculous. So anyway, we will continue to monitor. I don't think the progression is going to be very fast unless there's a mass withdrawal that is detected by the Russians from VUHLEDAR. Otherwise, this capture of the city is going to take some time, because this is a real citadel, this is a real fortress. So it's going to be a bit more difficult for the Russians to just comb through everything, especially everything is high building. There's a potentiality where they can get sniped more easily. But given the kind of bombardments the Russians have subject the city to, I don't think they are able to. They will be holding the position. I don't think they will be holding the position. In the Preshestivka region, there is also updates. The entire northern part of Preshestivka is now mapped by the Ukrainians as captured by the Russian forces all the way to along the river north of Preshestivka, fully securing the north of Preshestivka and setting up a strong position for the next phase of operation, which is to attack northward towards Novo-Ukrainka. So this is the situation. The Russian forces have basically secured all of this area, and the next move will be towards Novo-Ukrainka. So this is a very, very big amount of change. This change is around 6.44 square kilometers, pretty big. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So these are the frontline changes report for the past 24 hours. I believe that we're going to have more big changes in the next 24 hours. So do stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next update.